Hi, I'm Corey Gerard, and I'm coming back to you at Monster Wars. Now we have Amenia, the Vampire Queen, versus the Sith Lord, Darth Sidious. So, this story begins inside of a bathing chamber where a round tub of blood is now seen. Then Amenia, the Vampire Queen, appears wearing a long silk black robe. This room inside of her fortress is done in black marble with gold trim. Now Amenia is seen bending down in front of her blood pool and then heats the blood up by dipping her right finger into it. Then Amenia is shown removing her robe as she looks to be pleased at this time. We then see a nude vampire queen step into the blood bath. It's apparently her relaxation time while her open pores receive the pleasing rejuvenation. Then, so quickly, the high surrounding fire torches within this bathing chamber begin to rise a bit, and then Amenia is shown expressing a curious wonder. Now she levitates out of the blood bath, and her body appears all covered in blood. The vampire queen now lands on that floor, then her body completely soaks up the blood as seen doing so. Then suddenly the scene is shown quickly motioning out of this room and fastly moves down an outer hallway, while wall lighting provides a scenery tour. Then motion is shown entering a ritual room of her fortress where animal skulls and ancient weapons are now seen hanging on the walls, as well as a sacrificial altar. The scene then appears black, as if pure darkness consumed everything in that room. Now suddenly the scene rematerializes in a faraway domain. In fact, it is considered another reality land. A tall alien building is then seen in a future type of city because strange flying vehicles are shown coursing around this massive structure. We then quickly arrive inside and very tall ceilings are visible as several floating androids are seen, which look like round scanner droids. The motion now is shown entering a massive room, and a dark hooded figure appears in the very center of this chamber. The mysterious person is now shown dressed in black as he performs some type of a blood ritual, because he appears to be dripping his own blood into a large round uplifted bowl. We then see the face of this hooded feature, and it is none other than Darth Sidious, the Master Sith Lord. So Sidious gestures his right hand, and then 317 Sith holocrons fly to the Dark Lord's position as seen doing so. Now this wicked Mentis is seen using the dark side to encircle these holocrons, which are triangle shaped around himself and the large ritual bowl. Then these palm-sized devices are shown activating, and then hundreds of ghost-like gatekeepers suddenly come out. These glowing images are actually the near-sentient programs of past Sith, which appears to resemble those many Dark Lords. Now Sidious is shown amongst his assembled numerous. He then conjures lightning from both hands and then sends it into the ritual bowl, as seen doing so. The bowl soon after emits a reddish-looking energy, while motioning is now shown following it to the bowl's bottom. Next, the scene shifts back to the fortress of Amenia, and she is seen levitating through an outer hallway. Her eyes appear closed as she floats down a corridor. We then witness this vampire queen enter her ritual room as if she was drawn to it. Amenia is now shown opening her eyes and sees an opening in a side ritual wall, which shows a reddish-like energy coming through it. So the vampire queen slowly walks towards it while seen dressed in a royal black suit with an attached black cape. Her hair has a dark tiara crown which connects to its long flow. Now Amenia is shown smiling in a fanged expression. The scene then returns to Darth Sidious, who's now seen facing away from the large glowing energy bowl as he sends all of his holocrons back to their container racks by using a forced telekinesis power. The racks are then seen folding in to lock these holocrons away. Lord Sidious then turns back around to face his ritual bowl again and begins to chant some type of spell as shown and heard doing so. We now hear him say, "All unseen powers come forth and be mine." Then all of a sudden, the reddish bowl energy builds up and explodes in front of Darth Sidious. The Dark Lord is then seen leaping backwards with a force jump to get out of its way. Then he lands further back on both feet and replies, "Who dares disrupt my ritual?" as his face appears to be very angry. Then we see Amenia fly out of the ritual bowl and says, "Amenia dares to investigate your intrusion upon my realm." Amenia is now shown landing in front of Darth Sidious, so he uses the dark side to amplify a noise he makes, and then Amenia covers both of her ears because the Dark Lord centers that very loud sound around her as seen doing so. Next, Sidious uses force speed and force lightning to quickly wrap blue energy ropes around Amenia as he's shown encircling her very fast. These lightning cords appear to be causing Amenia much discomfort because her angry expression seems to be unhappy with them. But the Sith Lord is shown with a confident smile while the energy ropes and noise confines Amenia. Sidious then is seen replying, "I cannot sense the force in you, so you were very foolish to come here." Now the lightning ropes appear brighter because they're feeding off of Amenia's negative emotion. Then the vampire queen takes to flight and then shoots red rage lightning out of her eyes and at the energy ropes, as seen doing so. So Amenia is shown freeing herself from those energy binds because they now disappear. Sidious then appears to be in somewhat of a shock as expressed on his hooded face. Next, Amenia quickly lands near Sidious and then is seen shooting him with her rage energy weapon, but this time she's firing the red lightning from both of her hands. Dark Sidious was caught off guard and Amenia's energy attack sends him to the ground. Now the vampire is shown flying near a floored Dark Lord and then spits blood mist on him. Now Sidious is seen getting to his feet, but the blood mist hardens and encases him in a shell, as shown doing so. We then see Amenia land right in front of a trapped standing Sith Lord and says, "You will now pay for your vile intrusion upon me." She then backhands Darth Sidious to the floor because of her incredible strength. Then Amenia gestures her right hand at Sidious to manipulate his blood, and then his internal body is shown. Now his blood is seen turning into a miniature blood army of men. Now this blood army of thousands is shown attacking this Dark Lord from his inside while he envisions the whole attack. Then Amenia is shown conjuring blood sands into her left hand. She is now standing 35 feet away from Darth Sidious and then throws the sand out in front of her. Now Amenia is seen gesturing her right hand at those tiny blood pebbles and says, "Blood gives life." Then all of a sudden, those blood sands are shown transforming into 4 horned midget men. Then Amenia is shown making a fang smile as her midget soldiers charge in on Sidious in a surrounding way. Now, 2 large split-screen images show the Sith Lord being attacked from his inside and out, but he still manages to stand up in a hurry. Darth Sidious looks angrier than ever, so he now taps further into the dark side and conjures out his inner darkness. Now suddenly dozens of spiritual wraiths are shown leaving his body, and then these manifestations of evil attack Amenia's horned soldiers. Then the vampire queen runs at Sidious as her midget warriors are seen being destroyed. So Darth Sidious quickly hurls 2 evil wraiths on her, and she is now shown struggling with both of them. Now the midget warriors are seen turning back into red sand, and then the Sith Lord returns most of the wraiths to his very soul. These dark side spirits are actually smaller versions of his corrupted soul. Amenia then is shown struggling with the 2 remaining dark side spirits because the Dark Lord didn't recall them back. Now Sidious is seen surrounding himself with nurturing energy, which appears to be binding orange lightning, as he makes fast repairs to his outer and internal body. We then see this Lord of the Sith make a happy grin, and then he disappears in front of Amenia by simply hiding himself in his surrounding darkness. Now the last remaining dark side wraiths are shown leaving Amenia, and they go wherever Darth Sidious went. Then Amenia is seen with a full angered expression, and she says, "So you think you are powerful, but you know not the meaning of that." Now we will see her look around in all directions and replies, "I will have your blood and make you my slave like so many that came before you." Now suddenly Darth Sidious turns the lights off in this massive chamber, and then Amenia quickly flies to a large end window, as shown doing so. Then she sees through miles with her vampire eyes and notices many flying vehicles near tall alien building structures. Her eyes are now emitting a low red glare for visionary purposes. Amenia then hears a noise near the glowing ritual bowl, so she hurries to it in flight mode as seen going there. Then the lights come back on and we see Amenia being surrounded by hundreds of dark hover spears which are armed with laser blasters. These flying weapons are the size of grapefruit fruits, and now are shown opening fire on a standing vampire queen, as Darth Sidious is heard laughing out loud. Darth Sidious is now shown walking near the encircling line of fire, and then Amenia is seen jumping in mid-air and spins by the firing droids, which causes them to destroy each other. Now this vampire queen lands on the ground and transforms her pretty black face into a more terrifying appearance, as seen doing so. Then we see her change her body into dozens of vampire bats, as a smaller split screen shows a terrified looking Darth Sidious. Then these killer bats are shown attacking the Sith Lord in a surrounding press-on way, but his force shields block most of their incoming attacks. Then the bats are shown vanishing into thin air, and Sidious appears curious about their recent departure. Now, so suddenly, a reformed Amenia is seen appearing right behind Sidious, and then she quickly removes his dark hood and digs her vampire fangs into his right side neck. The Sith Lord is then heard yelling a discomfort noise. Now the old disfigured man is seen thrown to the ground by Amenia, and she replies, "So you are the reigning emperor over much. Yes, your blood reveals that to me." Then Sidious is shown gesturing his right hand at the ritual bowl and replies, "Unseen powers, go to where you cometh from." After that spell remark, the ritual bowl is seen sparking with the same red-looking energy. Amenia is now seen being put into the ritual bowl while she makes a feigned aggression at an onlooking Sidious. Then she's shown arriving back home inside of her ritual room, and then that energy portal on her wall closes up. The scene then returns to Sidious, and he's shown destroying the vampire infection by manipulating his midichlorians to consume it as he kneels down. Plus, the orange nourishing energy is seen emitting on his body. The end.